did see a list, I believe it was from The Athletic, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
ranking the Tigers farm system, the 30th worst farm system in baseball. That equals the worst in The Athletic's opinion. Now, you could take their opinion with a grain of salt if you'd like. I know you wanted to get in this. Unfortunately, we don't have our prospect guys, Rogelio and Chris here, but Yooper,
Sure.
what were your reaction to that? How familiar are you with the Tigers farm system? How familiar are you with just all 30 teams' farm systems as a whole? And do you think this ranking is a bit ridiculous, or do you think it's fair?
Well, here's the thing. I've been reading Keith Law's work for many, many years. He obviously used to work in the front office for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's an Ivy League guy, I believe, which doesn't mean everything, but means he's not an idiot, right? So he's a little on the arrogant side. I think he sometimes goes out of his way to have an opinion that is a little different than others, which is okay. I mean, that's how sometimes you can be very right when you do that, when you go against the norms. So I've never been a huge fan, but I'll say this: he's right as much as most people are, because this is an inexact science following baseball prospects, right? You can be right quite often, you can be wrong even more often. So with that said, he has this opinion that the Tigers, have a rather empty farm system that's in a bit of disarray. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, certainly the Tigers were a top 10, top 5 system a couple years ago when they were built around Green, Skubal, Torkelson, and a few others, right? The Tigers had that, everybody said, a top-heavy system, but with a lot of talent. Now the top of that system is gone. The Tigers don't have too many top 100 prospects. Certainly, I don't believe they have any top 50 prospects from any of the prospect ranking lists, right? I think the best one I've seen is like 60-something. So the Tigers don't have that premium talent at the moment. But as we talk here, we go through some of the performance, we go through some of what we've seen on tape or in person with Raj and Chris, we know they have a few ball players that we feel have big league talent, from the Colt Keiths and the Parker Meadows, Pacheco, and a few more, right? I mean, we all have hopes that some of them will progress and see the majors, and certainly some will. But do they have the premium talent that's going to show up in the majors and make a difference in the standings? I think you can make the argument that they only have a couple of long shots right now, Colt Keith being one of them. And when I say long shot, I just mean in terms of being an all-star level talent. I think it's a fair shot that he's going to be a solid ball player, someone who contributes to a good team. That's fine. And you need to produce those players. But do they have an all-star level guy in their system? Maybe Jackson Jobe, but we don't know yet because he's got one professional season. So Keith Law really took the worst case scenario on the Tigers, and I don't blame him. If I was ranking and I read baseball, I know what I know from watching video that I can find online and reading Baseball America, right? I am no expert. It seems to me the Tigers have some depth that they haven't had in past years of good prospects. Maybe not great prospects, but they have a lot of good prospects and a couple who could progress into something more. So even if he has them ranked last, I don't feel terrible about the state of the farm system. This isn't 2012 and 2014 where you couldn't find a decent prospect to save your soul, right?
Oh.
There are guys now that we can say, and more than a few, there are several guys right now that we can say, hey, if one or two skills progresses and things break right for this guy, he's a big leaguer, and there are many years where the Tigers couldn't say that. They were trying to sell a Stephen Moya, and they're not selling a Stephen Moya right now. They're selling us Colt Keith, and I think there's some substance to that where there was not substance in past years. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're the last place minor league system or not. I don't think it matters. I think they have players. They don't have the top end, and that keeps us from being really excited, right? But I think we have something to be interested in. And right now we have a big league ball club that's not all that interesting in some spots. So having an interesting minor league system is helpful for us fans. Now they're going to have the third pick in the draft this year. That's almost automatically a top 100 prospect most years. So that will be a big influx of talent right there. Just from that one pick alone, we're hoping that's somebody who's a 5-tool player or something like that, who gives us something to be excited about as an all-star level type of talent.